Dmitry, just thank you so much. I know it's the last minute, so I'll put you on the spot. Just a little bit of credentials.
Sure. So I'm a former LA Deputy District Attorney. I was a DA for 12 years. I'm a trial attorney. And I'm also an adjunct law professor out at Pepperdine. Okay. And presently I'm a criminal defense lawyer.
Okay, so you're kind of up to speed. You heard me talk a little bit about what happened and what we've gone through in the last, couple
Yes, and I'm here to help, to see if, what the eyewitnesses know.
So you saw our reaction. Is that typical?
Yes, I think witnesses typically are not paying attention to necessarily what's happening. They're going about their life, their daily business, and then something happens and there's a stressful event. So the question is eyewitness testimony reliable? Because of the stressors, because of everything that happened, were people paying attention? Could they really describe what the assailant looks like?
And also, can you really trust what you think you saw? Because it's such an important thing. You don't want to get up there and say, oh, it was a brown bag, like I said. She said, no, it's not. It's red. I mean, can you really trust what you saw?
That's right. Eyewitness testimony may not be reliable oftentimes.
Sophie, you went right after, like you were on.
I was just so sure that I just got a picture of him, and to me, he was wearing a green shirt.
Right.
That had a sort of like a sport thing. It had white stripes.
Something here. Something on his arm.
And it was definitely a red bag, and that he was, young. And I had a very definite picture of him in my mind.
Do you remember what he looked like?
Right. That was going to be. Do you remember his face? Anything unusual? Height, weight?
Yeah,
he was skinny.
He was skinny, and he was quite tall. He was taller than the women that he was taking the bag off.
See, I don't think he was tall because the women were little. He was their height.
Was there anything unusual? In other words, if you saw him again, was there anything distinctive, unusual, tattoos, scars, facial characteristics that you could describe that would tell the police, hey, this is the guy?
No, because he had his side and his back to us.
What about anything on his face? Sunglasses? Did he have a hat on?
Yeah, I think he was wearing a hat.
He had long blonde hair.
Was he wearing a hat?
No,
he didn't have.
I don't think he had long hair.
You don't? I thought he had.
I think he had a hat.
Can I just bring something up? Just draw your attention to something. The women seem to be much more chatty about this. Like, they see things, and the men, including myself, are a little bit more reserved. Is that common? Do you guys have any observations you want to share? But is that common?
I necessarily don't rely on my memory. That's why I went right after him.
He went. We have to point out that Fabio actually. I turned around. Fabio was gone. He actually chased after him.
He's a hero. I mean,
he was running with his chicken marsala. Taste this, taste this.
Listen.
What line of questioning would you have then?
Well, a lot of the questions we've all been asking, the height, the weight, facial characteristics, ethnic background.
Caucasian.
The way they're dressed, could you see their face, hat, long sleeve shirt,
short sleeve shirt,
because we want the police to have the best possible information so they can set up a perimeter and find this person. That's why you'll always see the bad guys change their appearance, change their clothing, because they don't want to be caught in exactly the same clothing that the eyewitnesses have already identified. So the clothing, the facial characteristics, the general appearance of the person is really what's so important for law enforcement.
Yeah, because when we pinned him down in the corner, he got rid of the vest he had on. He got rid of it.
Right.
And he had a hat on it, and short cargo, and he got rid of a couple of clothing.
Right, because they don't want to look the same way. They want to get away.
But what was so astonishing to us was that he got into this struggle in front of an audience. I mean, he was 20, 30 feet away, and we were all staring at this struggle going on.
But you weren't expecting it.
No.
So your mind and your attention is on something else. So that's why in court you would ask the person, hey, how closely were you paying attention to this individual? Because you could be going about your business, working here. You're not thinking somebody's going to steal.
Well, how does that stand up in court then? Because it sounds to me like that is, you can't use that in court.
And eyewitness testimony oftentimes is viewed as not as reliable. So you want to have as many eyewitnesses piece together consistencies to try to put together a story that's consistent. And then you look at other evidences, their videos, their DNAs, their fingerprints. You put that all together to prove your case.
But we have three different people who saw three different things.
Right, and oftentimes what the police will do is they'll put all those statements in police reports and try to piece together one consistent story if the perpetrator was arrested, you confront him with that information, and you say, hey, did you do this? Here's what people are saying. You did it, and you hear, is there an alibi?
But you couldn't take the testimony of any one of them unless they were consistent throughout, which is probably never happens, right?
Right. I mean, most of the time, people under non-stressful events are going to see and hear things differently. You could be standing with your friend watching a non-stressful situation and see things completely different. You add stress to the equation, and there's more inconsistency. So the police want to have all their statements, talk to them, take some time in speaking to them, and then put together one story for the prosecutor to consider, hey, can I prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt in court that this guy actually committed the robbery?